I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, July the 31st, and holy crap, that means tomorrow's August. Woo! Good morning. Good morning.
Uh-oh.
Let's just get it out of the way.
Uh-oh.
It is.
Wait a second. There are 31 days in July. Damn, I thought it was August 1st. I am stoned to the gills.
You are out of your mind, Zep.
I'm a day ahead, damn it.
Well, what are you going to do about it? I'll tell you what you should do about it. Since you got an extra day you didn't know you had, go see Oppenheimer today. This is not a paid endorsement, but by God, go see that movie.
Yeah. All right.
Man,
All right,
shout out to the 70mm IMAX down in Burnsville. Right on. That movie blew me little stinking pea brain yesterday all to bits.
All right. Now, I haven't been to the IMAX in a very long time. Maybe it's changed. Last time I was there, it was like 8 stories high.
Yeah.
It was like the side of an apartment building.
Pretty big.
And I couldn't see what was happening on the left if I looked to the right. You know, is it a little too much? Do you want the back seat, I suppose?
You got to go up high.
Right.
We were in the second to the last row. That worked out perfectly. Go in high and then sit high, to your point,
Gotcha.
to what you're getting
3 hours, though. You're going to have to duck out. I mean, there's no...
Never.
3 hour high.
No. The pacing was just like you won't even notice.
Okay.
Shout out to the whoever put the music to that movie because it never stops and it just keeps it rolling and keeps it rolling. And then of course there's about 1 4-minute scene where it's just dead silent and you could hear a pin drop. Shout out to all my Burnsville peeps for not making any noise. I thought there was going to be a moment during the previews when I realized everyone around me is talking really loudly. And if that doesn't stop soon, we're all going to have a hard time here because I'm going to lose my stinking mind. But seriously, great experience. Go see Oppenheimer. Absolutely mind-blowing.
Wow. So legit entertaining. Huh?
Yeah, it's just and again, growing up at a time, as we all did, when, going to the movies was kind of like a big part of your everyday life, or not everyday life, but but weekly life at least, and it was still like a thing to go to the movie theater. We've gotten away from it, but man, between that and Barbie in the last couple of weeks, I, like millions and millions of other Americans, very thrilled to be a movie fan at this time.
All right, what's next on your list of movies then to rush in to see?
Oh, no, that's it. That's just two a year is plenty. Don't push me, man.
All right.
I don't even know what else is out, honestly. But I caught the 2 big ones, and I'm feeling pretty good about that. But, it was such a normal thing to go to movies as a kid. You never questioned if someone said, hey, you want to see a movie this weekend? And when we were kids, you didn't even say, yeah, what movie? You went, yeah. Like the whole process. It was absolutely a social norm that is not one anymore. But it's one that I really miss. But there are a lot of social norms when we look around that make no sense. And I saw a list online of things we do that we don't even think about, and then until someone questions it, as soon as someone questions it, I should say, you go, oh yeah, that is kind of dumb. Why do we do that? Why? How did this become just such a normal thing to do? There's a million of them, but I think about this all the time. Why is it such a strange thing for men to have a sort of what do you call it? An accessory to carry their stuff in? I hesitate to use the word purse.
Satchel.
But why don't men carry purses? Don't you need stuff? And by the way, I say this. See, I got around the purse thing years ago because I bought an old used leather doctor's bag, so it looked fashionable.
Right.
And so when I used to travel all the time, that became my purse. It's got my it's like my wallet, my keys, my books, my reading glasses, my whatever headphones. It's all my things I need. And I'm on my 3rd one now because I go through for over 30 years, I've carried around like an old-timey doctor's bag, and people go, cool bag, dude. And all I'm thinking is, it's a man purse, and you don't know it. It just doesn't have a shoulder strap.
I don't like carrying stuff. That's my big. Otherwise, I think I'd probably go with a fanny pack.
Okay.
I'm trying to get rid of this phone, for crying out loud.
Yeah, no, I get that.
Behind, yeah.
Why do we still acknowledge when strangers sneeze? What does it do? What's the point? Can we not just let go of that entirely?
They don't feel so alone.
Yeah. It's like, why do we say excuse me when you burp or fart in public, I suppose.
These are just normal bodily functions.
Yeah, right.
When I sneeze, I don't need anyone to say anything because I feel good. Isn't sneezing like a joy in a day?
One of great pleasures.
Isn't it one of your just little momentary, that's good.
No, I don't like it at all.
You don't like to sneeze?
No, I've been sneezing a lot lately.
Oh, Candice.
Sneezing too much.
Okay,
well, if you're like 4 times in a row.
Okay, well, if you've got a lot of sneezes, I get it. But, when you're sitting around and you have that sneeze coming, and it builds for upwards of 20 to 30 seconds, and you don't overthink it away, which is the worst thing you can do. But when you get a long-awaited sneeze, that's every bit as satisfying as almost winning the lottery.
Right.
For God's sakes.
And just let it go too. I mean, you kind of launch yourself into it.
Yeah. I think it's a fantastic thing. I love the sneeze. And I do think it's odd when I sneeze and someone from, someone I've never met and will never see again goes, "Bless you." I'm like, what? Okay. Sure, thanks, I guess.
I'm just tired, Steve. I'm tired of the sneezing.
Okay, so you're in a specific sneeze. You're in a sneeze tunnel right now, is what you're telling us.
Look at a light that's supposed to stop you from sneezing.
What? That makes you sneeze, I think. Oh, I see what you're doing there.
Okay, so Candice, I know this is totally anti-radio protocol, but if you feel one coming, just let it go on the mic today.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We will welcome one, not two. We will welcome one Wheeler sneeze just to see what you're experiencing.
Woody might not dig that.
No, the next guy to use that mic might have a problem with it. Nothing we have to worry about, but like the fact that if you're going to work, to dress up, business attire involves a tie. I mean, again, look, I'm looking at 3-4 T-shirts sitting around here. Candice, I wouldn't expect you to wear a tie anyway, but for the other three of us, we're just a few, we're kind of slobs. Let's just call it what it is.
Nice.
That's why we're in radio.
Yeah, it is. I think business cash is becoming more and more popular, but you still see the ties out there.
Yeah, you do.
If I see a tie, it's bad news. I mean, it's I'm either going into court or, right.
Wow.
Somebody from court.
There it was.
Was that it?
That was
Sorry,
not
I
me.
interrupted.
That was not me. Mine is much more graceful.
That was just a recorded sneeze, and I bought into it. Jeez, man. Oh well.
You'll know.
Yeah.
You'll know.
We'll know. Yeah, Zepp, you were saying if you're wearing a tie, we got problems.
Yeah,
There's
right.
trouble afoot.
Trouble afoot.
I said there was a time one day when I said. Someone said, when this happened, and any listener, and you guys are welcome to do this, as a fun experiment, just move to Nashville, Tennessee one day, and then keep track with how many people in the first month go, "Oh, welcome to town. Have you found a church?"
Oh, funny.
Have you found a church? That's a thing everyone says. Really? And when we first got there, I started saying, how could I not? There's one on every corner.
Right.
That was my response. And then I turned it into, well, no, because I wasn't looking. Because I just think it's such a rude, because it's actually meant to be, they say it, that's Southern hospitality. It's friendly, but kind of weird. Have you found a church means they want to know what denomination you are and what part of town are you in. They're trying to get a lot of information out of you by you simply saying, "Why, yes, I'm at Beacon Hill Baptist." Then they can make 9 determinations about you.
Well, shoot back at them. Why is firebombing legal here?
That's an extra step, but yes. But to your point, Zepp, I started saying I go to churches for weddings and funerals. That's about it. That was a thing. And when if I'm putting on a tie, someone's getting married, someone's dead, or someone's suing me. That's about it at this stage of the game.
I don't wonder if I even own a tie currently. Because when I go formal, it's just I'll put on the suit.
Yeah.
But not a tie. You got to keep it semi-cash. I'm trying to remember the last time I wore a tie. Might have been when I got married, I guess.
I put on a tie for a wedding about 5 years ago. And it had been 5 years since I'd worn a tie, and for the first time in my life, I literally went, I have no idea how to tie this. Really? It really threw me off.
Funny.
And then, no, you know what it was? It wasn't that. It was my son was going to a formal, and he needed a tie. Mm. It wasn't a tux. It was just a nice suit thing. And I was like, oh, man. And I pulled it up on YouTube, and as soon as the guy started tying, I went, oh, yeah, I got it. But I had to see someone start to tie a tie before I could remember how to tie a tie.
So it's called a clip-on.
Yeah, no kidding. It got me through grade school and elementary school and high school.
Yeah.
I've had jobs where I had to wear a suit and tie, and it's just so time-consuming. I do like dressing up, though, but my granny used to go, Tony, honey, a gentleman wears a suit to work. And I'm like, Gran, I work in radio. I can wear my pajamas.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the first time I ever flew. I was 20, and I was walking out of the house, and my mom said, "You cannot wear that. You're going on an airplane." I was like, "What are you talking about?" I wasn't wearing gym shorts. I was wearing jeans and sneakers and like a T-shirt. And she was like, "No, you put on a nice shirt." And I was like, It's 1985. I don't think that anybody cares.
I still, though, when I was growing up, if you were going out to eat, we did it, I think, 4 times in the entire time I grew up in the house, went out to eat. It was you had to get dressed up. I mean, you were getting all gussied up to go out to eat. And I still, to this day, where the girls will go, honestly, can you just, a little something, slap it together here? They'll be in their pajamas, and they look at me like, are you in, what decade do you think?
Yeah.
That's not even your decade, Dad. No one has been dressing up to go out for dinner
That's it.
for a billion years. All right. Well, Mike Evans' Hollywood Report coming up. I'm sure he'll have something to say about the big box office weekend. Hang tight.
KQ Morning Show is back, and we always want to hear from you. Call or text 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, July the 31st. Whoo, baby. I already mentioned it once. Big fan of my experience yesterday in Burnsville watching Oppenheimer. That movie continues to roll along, as does Barbie. And I'm assuming that, as we said also, there are other movies out there. I just haven't figured out what any of them are yet. But I'm back on the horse. So who better to discuss the life and times of Hollywood on July 31st, 2023 than with Mike Evans. Good morning, Mike.
Hey, good morning. Good morning. This report brought to you by Marcus Theaters. Proud to announce Value Tuesday. That'll be tomorrow. $6 for any movie and 20% off all concessions. And remember, we don't have just concession food, which is really good. We have absolute fabulous restaurants, dining options. They're called Take 5 Lounge. Check them out. They're really good. They're at each cinema, only at Marcus.
Nice.
Well, I kind of worried about you, Steve.
Oh, thanks, brother. What is it specifically that's got you up late at night thinking about me?
Well, because it's my first item. Hottest scoop of the day. Is it true there are some big-name actors who have been shooting some movie scenes with scab crews?
Wow, really?
Screen Actors Guild officials are investigating it. The story broke late on Friday.
Well, what kind of big-name actors? Who are we talking about here?
They wouldn't say who. They just said big-name front-row actors. 3 of them, apparently. So we'll see what
disgusting.
happens. Here is a twist on a celebrity love list.
Okay.
There are 5 celebrities. These are the 5 celebrities who have been married the most times. And there are 4 of them are tied for second place. Liz Taylor, Mickey Rooney, Larry King, Richard Pryor, all married 8 times.
Larry King? So how did I miss that?
Number 1, married 9 times, Zsa Zsa Gabor. So, Steve, I'm thinking in the old days, people didn't sleep with somebody. They got married first.
I guess so. Zsa Zsa Gabor 9 times.
Amazing.
What did numbers 5 through 9 actually think is happening?
I don't know.
I mean, like, there are vows. There's a promise to hang out at least until Sunday.
Yeah,
What's happening?
So.
I mean, I'll give you the first 4, but seriously, the last 5. Come on, guys, wake up.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a lot of others at 7. A lot of others. Jerry Lee Lewis. I mean, there's a whole bunch at 7. The Harry and Meghan story just keeps getting worse. First, every television deal they went into it unwound because they didn't show up. When they did show up, they were mean, they were argumentative, they were boring. They badmouthed the royal family in interviews and books. Now we know there's marital problems. And joining their neighbors, Katy Perry, Orlando Bloom, or Ariana Grande, who will have nothing to do with them anymore. Over the weekend, David and Victoria Beckham said that they'll never speak to them again.
Really?
Nobody knows the details. And this morning, George Clooney has broken off contacts with his old dear friend, Meghan Markle. So I don't know what's going on there.
I tell you what, you can be mean in Hollywood and you can be argumentative, but boring? Oh, boy.
Yeah, that's not good. Harry was house hunting over the weekend in Malibu looking for a much cheaper place. Harry might want to check out Lisa Marie Presley's house. It's up for sale, 7,500 square foot. It's located in Calabasas.
No, Mike, sorry. Harry might want to check out Butte, Montana.
Well, that's pretty expensive, too, I think, nowadays.
Well, the outskirts. I'm sure he can find a little bungalow somewhere outside of maybe Los Angeles. Let's get serious, people.
Might be a good idea. show business. Disney is selling off a lot of its holdings, cutting costs wherever it can. As I've mentioned, they fired 6,000 employees over the last 24 months and unloading some of their expensive personalities, especially right now out of ESPN. Now, here's the latest. This is a different twist. I'd be anxious to get your thoughts on it. Alex Rodriguez and ESPN, owned by Disney, they've agreed that he could just leave ESPN with no contract payoff. In exchange, ESPN will allow him to go straight to Fox Sports full time.
Wow.
You know what? I think it's good for Disney, good for A-Rod. I really don't like Alex Rodriguez as an announcer. Do you?
I don't like him as a person. I never have. He's complete fabrication. He's from a boring clone lab.
We are totally in agreement. I have never liked A-Rod.
Not an authentic bone in that guy's body. That's my interpretation from thousands of miles away most days of my life.
And his voice is horrible on television.
Yeah.
It's kind of high and squeaky and cracks, and I don't know. More Disney news. Their movie Haunted Mansion cost $157 million to make. Last weekend, its opening weekend, it only brought in $28 million.
Oh, boy.
No wonder Disney is having a basement sale-off. I mean, geez Louise.
Yeah, well, I said earlier in the show, Mike, I love Barbie, I loved Oppenheimer. What else is there? After the high of those two movies, there's got to be something else out there we're seeing. Now I'm back in the habit. I'm excited about movie-going.
I know, and Barbie had a great weekend. You know what that tells me? It tells me Barbie still has great legs. See what I did there?
Bum, 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 bum. Bum, 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 bum.
I'll leave it with this. This is absolutely shocking. While face value tickets on the ticket, the Taylor Swift LA concert sell from $49 to $449. StubHub has tickets for sale for the same concert that range from $800 to $11,000 a ticket.
Yep.
That is outrageous.
Well, if someone's going to pay that money, then they deserve to be, I guess, applauded for having that kind of money and laughed at for being such a fool.
And how much of that money does the artist get?
Well, that's the thing. That's the backroom deal no one likes talking about.
I know. There you go.
Second market profits for the artist. Don't kid yourself.
Hey, have a great day. We'll do it again tomorrow. See you.
Thank you, Mike. Mike Evans, Hollywood Report, a staple since 1927.
Mm-hmm.
Man.
And good for you.
I did see something that I thought was interesting, and it was a breakdown. People, because again, Barbie, it's this, it's steaming towards $1 billion. It'll be there any day worldwide, any day now. The biggest film directed by a woman ever in Hollywood history, and people are saying, what an accomplishment, what an accomplishment. The difference, and I saw just a breakdown, if you look at the top selling movies, the top movies directed by women historically, and you look at the marketing and the budgets for marketing and promotion ahead of time, nobody's ever had a movie with anywhere near this much advanced marketing and promotion. Whereas every dude movie gets it. All the, you see this thing after 100 years of movie making, people are finally just going like, well, let's just promote it better. And then it will, the idea that my point is a lot of amazing women have directed a lot of amazing films that studios and budget guys, dudes, not used to saying, give that lady all the money. Now they were like, oh, give that lady all the money and look what happens. Oh, go figure. Everybody realizes this movie might be pretty good. It's just like with women's sports. You have leagues run by men, talking to networks run by men, talking to advertisers run by men, talking to corporations run by men, saying, let's support the NBA. And then, it's like, well, you got decades and decades and decades of that. And I know society used to not think women played sports, and we are behind. And I'm not saying you can't switch a light bulb and make it all equal and all that. The point is just simply, change takes a while, but when you start to see it coming, it's nice to see. That's all, really. It's a slow train coming around the bend, but that's kind of nice to see. I like the lady directors because you know what? They surprise me.
Yeah, I've forgotten all about Barbie though because I saw
since you saw
The Little Mermaid. Finally, I watched it last night, and I just
What do you mean finally?
When did it come out?
The new one.
When was it released?
I don't know. I think it's still in theaters.
Okay, and you saw it last night.
Yeah,
it was great.
Perfect.
It's perfect.
Yeah.
So that's all it takes to get you to dump Barbie off at the train station as a Little Mermaid reboot?
Well, The Little Mermaid means more to me than Barbie does. So I used to watch The Little Mermaid every single day with my best friend, Selena. I almost forgot.
So many best friends.
You guys are tight. Well, it's
But
just like one day it's Felicia, the next day it's
she was my first friend.
One day it's Barbie, the next day it's the mermaid.
She lived across the hall from me, and we'd run over to each other's place and watch that movie every single day. And I was messaging her during it last night, and just all the feels. It's just such a great movie.
Well, then, fair enough. That's my third. I said I've seen Barbie, I've seen Oppenheimer. What's next? I guess it's The Little Mermaid.
Yep.
That's not going to happen. Let's look back. How about a history lesson?
I'm your history teacher from now on.
Good morning, class. Good morning, class.
There you go. Yes.
Thank you.
I'm Steve.
Man. Oh, boy, that just sent my brain off the tracks in a Cheech and Chong haze. On this day in 2007, the Minnesota Timberwolves traded Kevin Garnett to the Boston Celtics. And, like every trade involving the Timberwolves, this one went really well for the other team.
Mm-hmm.
KG was trying to get out for a while, held out for years, and of course, conventional wisdom now, and even KG says, I should have left much sooner. But I'm sure Timberwolves fans were glad he stayed for as long as he did. Obviously, the Celtics got a title, would have had two had he not been injured in his third year in Boston. And it's just another one of those things for the T-Wolves. Said goodbye to some real talent, and then brought in a bunch of guys we don't need to talk about. On this day in 2001, I'm only mentioning this out of respect. I wasn't here, but as a football fan, everybody remembers. On this day, Corey Stringer died. Corey Stringer of the Minnesota Vikings in 2001. That is 22 years. That's amazing. Collapsed during practice, 27 years old. Great guy by all accounts, too. That wasn't just for the Vikings, but the whole NFL. Music history on this day in 2015, Morrissey, the singer originally of the Smiths and a solo artist since 1987, claimed that while going through security at San Francisco International Airport, TSA agents groped him. He said he was sexually assaulted, and he filed suit. The TSA said, well, we've got security camera footage right here. And then they showed it, and nothing happened.
No.
Morrissey's just being Morrissey.
Liar.
That man touched me in a way I found inappropriate. No, sorry, dude. You're fine. That's just called a regular security screening. On this day in 2012, Bruce Springsteen played in Helsinki, Finland. Final date of the 2012 European tour. This was, for reasons that will forever remain a mystery, the longest show of his career. 4 hours and 6 minutes.
Wow.
4 hours and 6 minutes. And that's not with an intermission. That's not with a break. That's him and the E Street Band. 4 hours and 6 minutes. All the talk about how he's played a million hours. He's always playing 4 hours. No, he's not. He usually plays 3 hours. This was just one time, which begs the question, what was he hoping to avoid? I mean, honestly. You know who stays on stage for 4 hours? Someone who's filled with dread. I'm just saying, something was waiting for him back home that he did not want to address.
All right, getting us in the mood for the State Fair Midway, another amusement park mishap. But was this one a bad thing? Well, some would think not. See what you think. Here at 7 o'clock, we'll share that story. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candice, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, July the 31st. Monday, July the 31st. This is smack dab in the middle of summertime, amusement park, fairs, rides galore all across America. Kids are waking up and going, let's go somewhere where we can get on some rides today. I'm a big fan of rides.
Yeah, me too.
Love roller coasters. Loved all the rides for as long as I can remember. And my favorite ride as a kid at the Western Kentucky State Fair was the Himalaya every summer. The Himalaya was a snow-themed ride. It was just a giant circle. It was like a cart on a track. It wasn't like a roller coaster. It was just a continuous loop of cars connected in a circle with a few slopes up and down. And you just went in a circle with loud rock music playing.
We know it very well.
That was
here.
it, forward or backwards. It went either way, and you had the same carny every year going, well, do you want to go faster? And you'd go, yeah! And the staples were free ride and or slow ride. Those were the big ones, generally speaking. The last time I saw a Himalaya in operation, I took my daughter to a county fair in Tennessee, probably 2014 with a buddy, and they were riding the Himalaya. It had a different name, but it still had a snow theme, but now it was called like like Mount Everest or something, or something to do with I don't know, the Alps maybe, but it was still like ski themed, snowy peaks, and it was going in circles. And I heard a Black Crow song playing, and I was like, that's uncomfortably weird. Like that's just a weird thing, and it was almost as weird for me as it was for my daughter, who was like, well, that ruined the ride. I'm like, yeah, it's not quite the experience you want. But anyway, the point is this: I couldn't get a long enough ride. And sometimes when they would play slow ride, they would play the album version, and you'd get like a 7-minute ride. There's nothing better in the world. Flash forward to 2023, and kids today. Here comes my old grumpy man speech. Ready? What the hell happened to kids today? Because in Rye, New York, a New York City suburb, there is a amusement park called Playland. And they have this ride, and a bunch of kids got on it, and it got stuck, so it went for 10 minutes. And instead of everybody celebrating the extra long ride, everybody was freaking out and panicking and threatening to sue. And all the kids were crying afterwards because they were traumatized because the ride went on for 10 whole minutes.
Wow.
Would you stop? Seriously.
We would have killed for a 10-minute ride.
That's what I mean. Literally, yes.
My God, that's the bonanza. That's the big win.
You waited. If you get a ride that's longer than how long you waited in line for the ride, you have won the lottery, my friends.
Yeah.
It's completely insane. Onlookers were freaking out. The kids, there's all these videos like TikTok and Instagram videos. It's it went on for 10 minutes, not for an hour, 10 minutes, along with blazing hot, loud, good music, I would assume. But this ride, it's not called the Himalaya. It's called the Music Express. So music's playing. Oh, I should say this one was going in reverse. It was going backwards.
All right.
But that matters. You're getting on the ride. You know it's going to go one of two ways.
Right.
And backwards is just as fun. The emergency shutoff didn't work. Maintenance workers eventually just disconnected all the power. And yet again, just video after video of parents comforting their traumatized children. First of all, my parents wouldn't have noticed if it went on for more than the allotted 3 minutes. They would have just been like,
Remember when your parents used to get mad at you when you would cry? When you get upset at something? My dad always, if something scared us or if we got hurt a little bit, we started crying, it upset him.
Well,
pissed him off.
Well, when you say, do I remember that? It's as if there was ever an alternative reaction.
Right.
Yeah, every time I ever cried, I got in trouble for, I'll give you something to cry about. It's just like, no, we don't do that here. But you especially don't cry when the ride goes on 3 times longer than you had hoped for.
Yeah, right.
That's just a win all around for the parents who get a few minutes break from your crying ass, and then for you because you're supposed to be having fun.
Was there any vomit that came with the tears?
I didn't see vomit. I imagine somebody may have gotten sick. If you got sick after a few minutes, okay, maybe, but you got to know what you're getting into when you're getting on the Music Express at Rye, New York. Come on.
Yeah, right. And you're going backwards. You're puking on the person in front of you anyway, not yourself.
I mean, the ride thing, like the Minnesota State Fair's coming up, it's a boomer. It's the biggest in the country. It's the greatest. I know all this. Got a lot of rides going on, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We're going to definitely go on some rides.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. The Tilt-A-Whirl, the old classic.
I will not go on the Tilt-A-Whirl.
You are not a Tilt-A-Whirl fan?
No.
Too much spinning?
Yeah.
Dizzy?
And it's just boring. I like the roller coasters, the water stuff.
Okay, hold.
Yeah.
The Tilt-A-Whirl's
Everybody
not
loves getting
boring.
wet at the fair.
I love it.
The Tilt-A-Whirl's boring. First time I've ever heard anyone say that.
It's too much for Candice.
Were you a Tilt-A-Whirl fan as a kid, Tony?
Oh, hell no. No, I don't like to spinny cup. And I remember being on that, and Terry Schwartz was riding the Tilt-A-Whirl, and he threw up in the air, and because the cups were revolving, the vomit spiraled in the air and fell on top of him. It was extremely entertaining.
Yeah, what's that one where you stand up and it spins around?
Oh, yeah. My God.
Yeah, we did the South Dakota State Fair one year. Some kid had I don't know why, no one ate rice when I was growing up, but this kid because rice came raining down on the crowd.
Rice.
Remember, it hit my cousin and hit me right across the chest.
Wait, which ride was this?
Right across my Evel Knievel shirt. It was, I don't know, that one where you stand up and and then
where it just spins
locks
the
you in.
centrifugal force and
The
then they
zipper?
drop the floor?
No, not the zipper.
And you're stuck to the walls?
Gravitron. Yeah, that one.
Yeah.
Gravitron? What was it?
Yeah, something
Vertigo?
like that. They called it
no,
something.
the Vertigo was a swing one.
Yeah.
Yeah, but anyway, I was stuck there and some kid turned his head, and it had those mesh walls and just rice just came out.
Ew.
Man, how about the Scrambler? Anybody a fan of the Scrambler?
Yeah, that one's kinda
Loved
cool.
it as a kid.
Yeah, that was a good one.
Yeah, and I loved when and you'd see somebody in one of the other cars that you're going to scream past, and you would like, do we try to give each other 5, or will we rip each other's arms off at the attempt? And it would always you'd stick your hand out and you'd pull it back right at the last second. Oh, I love me some Scrambler. Always my favorite. Ferris wheel, yay or nay?
Yeah.
Sure, if there's a view, not at the stage. I mean, you get up there and you're like, hey, look at all those little ants down there, and But it's not. Not my first choice.
It's good for the hand holding, maybe a kiss here and there. The middle school fair trips, the Ferris wheel is good for that. One year at the Western Kentucky State Fair, they whipped out the double Ferris wheel. You got that one? You hip to that?
The double Ferris wheel, and then they go around each other. As
way
they go up.
more intense experience.
Badass. Yeah, that's cool.
Really cool. Really cool. And in fact, it was on the double Ferris wheel or waiting to get on it that one of my older brothers, Jim, was kind of like there chaperoning, or he was just, there kind of watching me. I was maybe 11 or 12. And as I was waiting to get on, this is the first time this ever happened. He pointed to the guy running the ride and he goes, "You're putting your life in that guy's hands." And I was like, "Oh my, that guy that looks drunk?" Like,
right, what do you look like?
I just hadn't noticed the carnies before, and suddenly I was like, "Oh man, that's a little nerve wracking." Really wish I hadn't really been pointed out to me.
There's a carny that let us bring our beer on the Ferris wheel at the State Fair a couple of years ago.
Really?
Sure. It was awesome.
He knows how to make friends.
Yeah.
Bumper cars? Come on.
Yeah.
Classic.
I knocked,
we all love
knocked
those,
a
right?
tooth out going on bumper cars.
You what?
I kind of forgot to steer it. I rammed into a wall and lost a tooth.
Because you smashed your face into the wheel or something?
Yeah.
Was it surely it was loose already.
Yeah, probably.
Okay,
I was a
so.
youngster.
Oh my gosh!
But it was a trauma.
My traumatic bumper car experience was I was so excited, gleefully running to my car, and I slipped. And, that track, it's just black. And I was just covered in black, like soot-looking stuff for the whole rest of the day.
I think probably, I would recommend to adults who get a little frustrated with their commutes and how can you not, just jump in the bumper cars when you get there and get it out of your system. Nothing better than T-boning your best friend in a bumper car, where he wasn't watching. You're like, because when you're going head on, you both see it coming and you get that long, and then somebody inevitably kind of rams in on the side and screws it up. But that T-bone, where they don't see it coming, and you get a little whiplash going.
That's fantastic.
Rocked. Yeah.
Candice, you mentioned water rides. Do you mean like the log ride type
Yes,
of
I love
vibe?
the log shoot, yes.
Okay. Oh, good. Really? That's good. Have you ever been on either a log ride or one of those river rampage rides where you're in the any of those water rides at any park, and you get splashed and it's fun, and then you realize that the water smells like ass? You're just like, ooh, God, I stink now.
You got to walk around like that.
No, it's not fine. It's so disgusting.
Probably about 50% sweat and urine.
Yeah, it's just everyone else's sweat and urine, just a sheet of it washes over you. But then you say to your friends, "No, it's really nice. It really cooled me off. It was good. Yeah, it was good. And I smell like a urinal."
To walk around the fair damp, moist.
No?
The rides here are not. I feel like I've never thought that. I feel like they smell like chlorine, maybe. But
okay. Well, then great. That's great. I always love the swings. You refer, the dangling chair. And you just go in a circle and swing. I'd ride that thing all day long. Always like I'm a World War I flying ace. I'm high over the hills of the fields of Belgium in my Sopwith camel or whatever the hell I would think. Yeah, very much like Snoopy. Just the Blue Max really was more my vibe. I'm George Papard flying that Fokker D triplane or whatever it is. But yeah, no shortage of rides in my life. Curiously, I've been injured on a ride once, like a true injury, and it was the Ferris wheel. It was the merry-go-round.
Injured on a merry-go-round.
The most basic, easiest thing. It was because I thought I was watching a merry-go-round at Ocean City, Maryland, at the amusement park. I'm standing next to it, and it starts. And I had this thing in mind that I was going to run alongside of it and hop on like they do in movies about double-decker buses. You see a guy run next to the bus, and then you get to speed and you just jump into it. But I forgot the part where I ran alongside of it and got to speed. Mm-hmm. As it was coming around, one of the support poles, I just reached out my hand and grabbed it.
Yeah.
And it just whipped me, and I like off my feet, and then I was like parallel to the cement for half of a second, and then let go.
Oh no!
And I just gave myself an airborne, perfectly parallel to the ground loft, and then let go, and then slammed in and smacked my head, and I was just like, oh, I mean, it really hurt. And I mean, my eyes are watering, and then I look up, and not one but two of my brothers doubled over laughing at me, which of course made it that much worse.
Nice move.
And you know what I did? I jumped up and ran away. I just ran as fast as I could, and then sat down somewhere and cried.
Very nice.
That was bad timing. So yeah, I'm the one guy that got hurt on the merry-go-round.
Well, I mean, I think if you weren't using it responsibly, none of us did. The big thing was to get it going as fast as you could and try and jump off. There was that whole routine.
Oh, the manual merry-go-round.
Yeah, the manual.
Sure. Yeah, the ones you just on the playground or whatever.
Right, where you just get spinning 100 miles an hour and then try to either leap off or leap onto. Yeah,
absolutely. Well, I'm fired up for the Minnesota State Fair, and I'm just going to say right now to anyone listening, you want to give me a 10-minute ride, go for it. I'll take the extra. I'll take the power. I'll take the emergency shutdown not working and an extra 7 minutes of free ride blasting in my ears.
That's
anytime.
Get after it. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it as well. I probably won't join you on the rides. They're a little sticky out there for me. But
okay,
I'll be in the beer garden cheering you on.
Well, then I tell you what. Let's do this. Let's drink beer and then go ride spinny rides together. You and me.
You got it. I'll meet you at the spinny ride.
A test of strength and will.
What's that thing that two people sit in it and it like shoots you up?
Well, the ejection seat, and I had a fine KQ moment. I went on that ride live on the air.
Yeah, I'm trying to go on that. I'm trying to do that.
The ejection seat.
What do you mean trying?
I'm gonna do it.
Okay,
you're gonna do it. All right.
Yeah.
We look forward to the video.
That's fun. All right now, callers 9 and 2, 651-989 Rock. We're playing Who Rocks for a chance to win tickets to the Steve Miller Band Sunday, Mystic Lake Amphitheater. Prize provided by Mystic Lake Casino. Thank you. Our runner-up today gets hairball tickets Saturday, August 19th at the Isanti Rodeo Grounds. Prize provided by the Isanti Fire District. 651-989 Rock. Dial up. Good luck and hang tight.
The KQ Morning Show is back, and we always want to hear from you. Call or text 651-989-ROCK. 651-989-ROCK. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, July the 31st, which means, what are we, 7 months through the year, way beyond the midway point.
Yeah.
That's exciting.
Yeah.
I'm still looking at everything with fresh eyes, new eyes, like first year in town guy, honeymoon in the Twin Cities guy.
Right.
And I'm realizing, wow, I'm well past the midway point.
Right.
To year one. That's kind of cool.
Before you know it, yeah.
It will be snowing before I know it. It's darker in the morning as I drive to work. It was much lighter a month ago at 4 a.m. than it is now. That's already kind of concerning, if you will.
You're a little wide-eyed fawn.
I am a little wide-eyed fawn. I saw not one but two people yesterday on my walk, my little power walk around town, stopped me and said, "Hey, man, I love the show. Welcome to town."
Cool.
It's really nice, really friendly. And then, and then, of course, it dawned on me that, it's almost winter. Here comes season 1 of Game of Thrones all over again. It's right around the corner.
Yep.
We are about to give away some tickets. I have a question for Candice Wheeler before we do that, though. Candice, do we need a second caller, or are we good to go?
Yes, I think our other caller had to get to work.
Okay, you heard the woman. We need another caller. Someone was locked and loaded to play. They dropped off. So right now, call 651-989-ROCK to be the second contestant for an opportunity to win tickets to see Steve Miller Band Sunday at the Mystic Amphitheater. Whew, baby. Little Steve Miller action. I've never seen Steve Miller live, ever. I probably should.
You sing along with every song.
I don't doubt
it. It's a beauty, yeah. You know every tune. Even some of those you didn't think you knew, like The Steak, or what's that other one, the American one or whatever?
There's Living in the USA.
Living in the USA.
Yeah, pre-Joker, the guy was making records all the time.
Yeah.
I've never seen him live, but I did spend 2 12-hour drives to the beach and back in 1978 in a car with only 2 8-track cassettes, and one of them was Fly Like an Eagle.
Yeah.
And boy, we heard enough Fly Like an Eagle to last a lifetime from my hometown to Pawleys Island, South Carolina, and back. I mean, we had a week in South Carolina, and you would have thought the priority would have been getting more 8-track tapes, but we somehow forgot it. And we're like hitting the road to return. It's like, oh my God, all we have is Fly Like an Eagle and Abbey Road yet again. Incredible. Very, very difficult times. But we made it through.
Yeah.
The Gormans made it through, ladies and gentlemen. So anyway, that's this Sunday night at the Mystic Amphitheater. Steve Miller Band will be performing. We're going to give away a couple of tickets. Thanks to the Mystic Lake Casino for hooking us up. There's a runner-up prize today.
Yeah.
Hairball, Saturday, August 19th at the Isanti Rodeo Grounds. That prize provided by the Isanti Fire District. Look out. I believe we have 2 callers locked and loaded, ready to rock. Candice, is that in fact true?
Yep, we're all set.
All right, Tony, what are we doing today?
Groovy. Let's pull this out of our sleeve. We're going to play Who Rocks because we're giving away Steve Miller ticks. We salute the rockers, and tomorrow is the day of weed, so get high and listen to rock.
Wow, the day of weed.
Do I have to wait until tomorrow?
No, you don't.
All right.
8123. It'll go down in infamy. All right, so we're going to play Who Rocks. And Candice, who is rocking contestant number 1?
John from Burnsville.
John, good morning.
Good morning.
Are you ready to play Who Rocks?
I hope so. I don't know how well I'll do. But
Oh, well, we're all going to find out together. That's the magic of live radio, brother. Tony, take it away.
We're going to play a little music trivia, Mr. Man.
All right.
And it's going to be multiple choice. Let's start off with number 1. Bon Jovi guitarist Richie Sambora was married to an actress. Was it A, Jenna Ortega, B, Heather Locklear, or C, Helen Mirren?
Heather Locklear.
Yes, nice start.
Boy, but if it had been Helen Mirren, wouldn't we all think a lot more of him?
No, we would.
Yeah.
Seen Heather lately?
Old itchy sombrero. Sorry, that was just a code name for Richie Sombrero. Go ahead. Tony, question number 2.
Number 2, when Steve Miller was only 4 years old, he learned chords from guitar guru A, Les Paul, B, Paul Sorvino, C, Les Nessman.
Les Paul.
I was going to say Nessman.
I know. Head scratcher.
That's great. Paul Sorvino.
Yeah.
You're playing jazz chords. I got to turn my back on you now.
3, Freddie Mercury of Queen attributed his incredible vocal range to his what? A, 4 extra teeth. B, an enlarged spleen. C, irritable bowel syndrome.
4 extra teeth.
Honestly, any answer would have been acceptable.
Yeah, you can't hit those notes and have IBS.
Whatever works.
Yeah, you're going to evacuate on stage.
Number 4 on their debut album. This artist played 27 different instruments. A, Bruce Willis. B, Prince. C, Tone Loc.
Prince.
It's kind of a show-off, wasn't he?
Wow.
All that talent.
Didn't think it was Willis, huh? Harmonica, and that's it. Number 5. Who famously said Elvis may be the king of rock and roll, but I am the queen? Was it A, Stevie Nicks, B, Rosemary Clooney, or C, Little Richard?
Stevie Nicks.
Oh, for heaven's sakes.
Right.
Oh, Little Richard. Oh,
Right, I know.
You did darn good, though.
All right.
Very
Man,
impressive.
4 for 5, John. Not bad. Not bad at all for a Monday morning. We're going to put you on hold, and we'll see what the competition has got up their sleeve. Candice, who is competitor number 2?
All right, we have Josh from Shakopee.
Josh, good morning.
Good morning.
Fun fact, yesterday in the car, my wife saw a sign and said Shakopee, and I laughed and made fun of her because that's what happened when I said that on the air about 6 months ago.
I know.
Finally been waiting for her to mispronounce something like I do every day around here. Josh, are you ready to play Who Rocks?
I'm ready.
I like that confidence, sir. Tony, take it away.
Let's go. Josh, number 1. John Bon Jovi's mom's former job was as a ghost hunter for the Discovery Channel, B, home theater tech for Best Buy, C, a Playboy bunny.
C.
Really? I
Yes.
didn't know that.
Mama was a bunny.
Yeah, what was Dad? Just a bunny chaser, I guess.
Mama was a bunny girl. Sorry.
No, don't apologize.
Couldn't think of a second line that was appropriate for morning radio.
Number 2, the Steve Miller Band was originally called A, the Steve Miller Blues Band, B, a spoonful of Steve, C, Miller Miller Chicken Dinner.
A.
That's right.
Oh, strong. Strong.
If you want a spoonful of Steve, never mind.
You got to get up early in the morning.
Right.
Number 3.
Miller chicken dinner?
Yeah, well,
Strong.
probably taken. What legendary band had a drummer whose nickname was Bonzo? Was it A, Insane Clown Posse, B, Led Zeppelin, or C, the Chuck E. Cheese House Band?
I'll go C.
Oh.
The Chuck E. Cheese House Band? Sorry, incorrect.
Wait, did you say what?
Wow.
Oopsie daisy.
John Henry Bonzo Bonham.
Correct.
Led Zeppelin.
That's right, Steve.
Come on, Josh. Led Zeppelin, for God's sake.
That's all right.
Had he not died, eventually he would have ended up in that Chuck E. Cheese
Oh,
band.
God. That band still traumatized
I
me.
know.
Led
It's terrifying.
Zeppelin.
Led Zeppelin, they were great. What are you talking about?
Yeah, give him a chance.
Yeah, what do you have against the rock and roll?
Yeah.
All right,
Been
2
a long
more.
time since I had pepperoni. Can hear the Chuck E. Cheese. Sorry.
Oh, God, that's
The
so
whole-
creepy.
Yeah, it's really creepy.
Number 4, vocalist Sammy Hagar began with which band? A, the Banana Splits, B, Belle Biv DeVoe, C, Montrose.
C.
That is
There
right.
you go.
Ron
Back on
Montrose.
track, Josh.
One more, sir. 5, a Bob Dylan 1975 single from Blood on the Tracks was titled Tangle Up in Blank. Was it A, Seaweed, B, Grandma's Yarn, or C, Blue?
C.
Yes. All right.
All
very
right. Well done, Josh. 4 for 5. Which means you have tied John at 4 for 5. Gentlemen, it is a tiebreaker
Wow.
for a Monday morning.
Oh, the
Here's my
drama.
tiebreaker. How about if I'm sitting in Mystic Lake parking lot while I'm doing it?
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Crazy. Sure.
How about that?
Yeah, that's confidence. My man's going to get there first.
Yeah, you got there early.
6 days ahead of the gig.
In the lot.
It's a general admission.
So Tony's going to have, a question? John, we'll ask your answer first, then Josh. Good luck to you both.
Fellas, between 1947 and 1969, how many UFO sightings were reported to Project Blue Book for investigation? How many?
What were those years again?
Between 1947 and 1969.
47 to 69. What do you got, John?
380.
380. Josh?
1,000.
Well,
Tony?
it's actually over 12,000.
Whoa!
12,618 to be exact.
All the same person, too.
Yeah, we're crazy out there. All right, well, that looks like Josh is going to be the man to come through with the Steve Miller tickets Sunday at the Mystic Amphitheater. Again, John, you're not leaving empty-handed. Hairball, Saturday, August 19th at the Isanti Rodeo Grounds. Congrats, gentlemen. Well played, both of you.
Thank you much.
You got it.
Thank you
Thank
very
you.
Not bad. Who was there? Who's already at Mystic Lake? Was it John or Josh? Yeah, one of them.
Josh.
Just wondering if they work there, if they're just wrapping up there. But about these casinos, I had a friend that used to decorate them all the time, and we'd go out to she always wanted to collect the decorations. I never helped put them up, but she'd be like, Brian, can you bring your pickup and come get the decorations? When would you like to do it? 3 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. What? Well, it's not very busy.
Yeah.
You'd be surprised how many people are sitting in a casino getting after it at 3 o'clock on a Tuesday morning. More power to them.
I had a great time at Mystic Lake on Saturday night.
Did you?
This past Saturday night,
What was going
playing.
on?
It was Rib Fest.
Oh, that's
and
right.
I saw
Yeah.
Rick Springfield for the first time, which was, felt good.
Yeah.
He's still kind of dreamy, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
Little bit.
really good.
Yeah,
He's
he's
a
a handsome fella.
good performer, too. It was super fun. Tons of KQ listeners. Yeah, just really great time. Beautiful night. And stayed up pretty late in that casino. Time just stands still in there, doesn't it?
What,
Did you rib it up, get all
what's your-
sauced up?
Yes.
What's your game in the casino?
I just hang around. I don't
Trying to find a boyfriend.
Wow.
Manhunter.
They had a couple different bands inside too, so it was just a big party. And I rode a mechanical pig.
What'd you call me?
18 seconds.
Hey,
Thank you very much.
A new record.
Really?
Right. What do
Yep.
you hold on to?
Like a rope, a tiny little rope.
All right.
Yeehaw.
A mechanical pig.
Ribfest. It's Ribfest.
So
Yeah.
it is Ribfest.
Yeah.
That makes perfect
Yeah.
sense.
I was
18
gonna-
seconds is pretty good.
Thank you.
I was going to get
Yeah.
down to that. There's too much in some of these summer weekends. You know, we're trying to cram it in here.
You weren't injured on the fall, were you?
My hip hurts a little bit
Really?
today.
Yeah.
It's a little swollen.
I'm
but
not surprised.
It's okay.
That's tough.
Yeah, it is.
18 seconds is plenty to feel good about. Hey, here's something to feel good about quickly right now. If you want a chance to win tickets to see Get the Let Out. Get the Let Out, a celebration of Led Zeppelin, Friday at Canterbury Park. Then text the keyword to 651-989-ROCK for a chance to win tickets. Text the word keyword to 651-989-ROCK for a chance to win tickets to see Get the Let Out. Do it right now.
Get the weed out.
Do it.
Tomorrow, legally.
Yes.
This sounds simple, but the government got involved, so we know it's not going to be simple. That's why we've asked a lawyer who specializes in cannabis law to join us here at 8 o'clock to see through the pod haze. Mitch Chargo at the top of the hour. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candice, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show. It is Monday, July the 31st, 2023. Good morning. We are one day away from August the 1st, 2023, which will be a big day historically for the state of Minnesota as we can all go get our high on. Legally tomorrow, marijuana legalization, decriminalization, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And so because we're just a bunch of knuckleheads, we're doing our best to have a few conversations along the way with people in the know, smart dudes, smart ladies, not like us. So with that in mind, we have on the horn Mitch Chargo, who is an attorney, local attorney who's got an awful lot of insight into weed legalization. Mitch, good morning, sir.
Good morning. How are you?
We're good on this end. Is the push to legalization something you've been a part of behind the scenes in any way?
Well, I was not a part of the lobby, but I am currently representing clients that are getting their gear up for the licensing process and scouting for the commercial real estate. And prior to that, I was the in-house general counsel for one of the state-registered manufacturers of medical cannabis here in Minnesota.
Okay, so great. So you definitely have been paying very close attention to this. So the people who are looking for commercial business operations, dispensaries, all that's going to still be a while before any of those are up and running, correct?
Correct. I think the current estimate is that, at least from the dispensary process and licensing process related to dispensaries, they're thinking after January 1, 2025.
Why is that?
But I do believe that licenses for the cultivators and the manufacturers are going to predate the dispensaries. They actually have to have somebody's got to grow the stuff, right? So that we can stock the shelves in the dispensaries.
Well, as far as who can apply for a license, actually, Mitch, let me ask you this. Sure. Why is it going to take over a year, maybe almost a year and a half, to get the dispensaries licensed and up and running? I know it's taken a lot less time than that in other states.
Well, currently, I mean, it's a big overhaul to the current framework of how we do things with cannabis. And the bill was passed, but now they're entering into the next stage of actually building the infrastructure, right? So we want to know what the new law does. It legalizes possession and use, but it also created a new state agency called the Office of Cannabis Management, and the OCM is tasked with licensing cannabis and hemp businesses and overseeing the entire market. So they actually have to create that framework, and then once that framework is created, they start what's known as the rulemaking process. And the rulemaking process is really used to establish the statewide industry and commercial requirements in a variety of areas related to the adult use and lower potency hemp edible market. So they have to actually provide the rules for all of the cannabis businesses to follow. And those govern product labeling and packaging and licensing and how the scoring is going to work, and cultivating and
taxing.
product testing, all those things. Right?
All right. Well, can your average entrepreneur apply for one of these cannabis licenses to sell, or is that just an exercise in futility? Or are the licenses sort of spoken for? Or is it the medical industry dispensaries that are going to get first crack at those?
Well, the medical, that's a very good question, Brian. There is a scoring system in place. There is a social equity component to the scoring. Those rules have yet to be enacted, so we don't know exactly how the scoring is going to work yet. But I do feel that the state is going to create a system of fairness. At least I hope so. And within that system, yes, the average business owner or entrepreneur should be able to apply and try to get a license. But what they are going to need is a really well-rounded team to help navigate that process.
Right.
Complicated.
Yeah, right. It sounds complicated. Some of this going over my head. So
sure.
Yeah, right. So, all right, just for your average user, tomorrow it's legal. So we know we can't go into a dispensary yet and buy it legally, but there is some legal cannabis that you can buy now, and tomorrow we can start smoking. What if I'm out smoking a joint tomorrow and the cop says, "Hey, man, where'd you get that pot? You didn't grow it because you didn't have time to grow it yet. You didn't buy it legally yet. You just happened to have it hanging around." Or are we going to be okay there? What are the legal implications?
So tomorrow marks the day that cannabis or marijuana is decriminalized in the state, which generally means that you can have your pot and smoke it too, right? I mean, I think the issue is going to be less about where you got it and more about, are you following, the limits that have been established that go into effect now, right? So you can have up to 2 ounces of flower. I'm sure you've had other people on that talked about that. I mean, man, you can have 2 pounds of raw bud in your house, right? I don't know who's going to smoke 2 pounds of bud, but you can have 2 pounds of bud in your house. And, what's interesting is there is a gap about where you can and where you cannot consume your cannabis, right? So we know you can do it in your residence, and that includes all the way up to the curb, right? Out in your yard, you can smoke it in your yard up to the curb of the street. You can smoke it on private property, unless the owner of that private property prohibits it on their property. But there is some silence on whether it can be smoked in public places. And we know you can't do it in areas that are prohibited under the Clean Indoor Air Act, right? So the cities are going to have to now default and pass ordinances governing where you can and can't smoke the marijuana in public spaces.
Mitch Chargo is with us on the KQ Morning Show. We're discussing weed legalization, which goes into effect tomorrow, or specifically, first things first, decriminalization, I guess, more appropriately. Let's talk about growing weed, Mitch. Down the road, is there going to be a limit, or are there questions on who can grow and how much can be grown?
No, that's been established under the current bill. I mean, people can grow up to 8 cannabis plants with no more than 4 being mature, flowering plants at one time, as long as it's in a locked space that's not open for public view in your house.
Got it.
So in the old days where the planes would fly overhead looking for the infrared lights, the heat markers, you don't have to worry about that anymore.
Remember the Cheech and Chong thing? They had the pool, but they had the water. It was just a painted sheet, and then the growing operation was down in the empty pool.
Yeah.
Those days are gone. You can just grow it out by the pool if you'd like to.
So I can actually use my basement for storage now. This is fantastic.
Right.
All right.
Now there is an interesting. Minnesota has taken an interesting approach. Just going back real quick to one of the questions about the licensing. They've created 16 classes of licenses, right? So there are a number of licenses to choose from. But in Minnesota, they've also banned or prohibited what's known as vertical integration. So in the cannabis world, vertical integration is what's known as seed to sale, meaning you can grow it, you can cultivate it, you can package it, and you can sell it all from one business. You can't do that in Minnesota now, except in limited circumstances. So what I'm telling people who call and reach out, and businesses that want to get in line for a license, is you've got to pick the sandbox that you're going to play in very carefully, because choosing one type of a license may preclude you from having a different kind of a license, except in limited circumstances.
Oh, I'm so glad Minnesota made it simple.
Right.
Good grief. Well, what about some of these cities I've been reading lately that don't want it? Can a city make it illegal, even though the state's passed the bill? Can Hopkins say, you know what? And I'm not picking on Hopkins. I love Hopkins, obviously. I'm living there right now. But can Hopkins say, hey, we don't want it legal in Hopkins? Or how does that work?
No, they can't. The legislature has taken that control away from the local governments, and they've actually come into this hybrid situation in which, a municipality cannot ban or prohibit a cannabis business from its jurisdiction, nor can it ban or prohibit use of marijuana in its jurisdiction. But what it can do is control the time, manner, and place of operation, which is fancy phrase for zoning, right? Mm-hmm. So they can zone, and they're going to have to figure out how to zone and where they're going to put these businesses within their jurisdiction. And they have the option of limiting the number of cannabis retailers to one for every 12,500 residents. And it will involve a process of close interaction with the Office of Cannabis Management, because if you're going to have a dispensary in a city, for example, you're actually going to have to go through not just getting your license with the Office of Cannabis Management, but you're also going to have to register with the local or the municipality within which you're trying to establish your dispensary. So it's complicated.
Jeez, is a year going to be enough? Wow, yeah, it doesn't sound fun. It makes my pod head hurt.
Well, it's an important tip to remember, which is if you want to dig into these issues and really educate yourself, don't get stoned before you do it.
Hire someone sober to figure it out for you.
Mitch, we appreciate you taking the time. Is there a concern? Do you have any sort of, oh man, if this happens, then this is going to turn sideways? Are there any red flags waving, or do you feel like Minnesota's got a pretty good head start on keeping this thing smooth?
I think, the primary red flag that, concerned me the most was just the overall depth and complicated nature of the bill. I mean, the bill itself was like 325 pages long. Mm-hmm. And it takes a lot of experience to navigate a bill like this, especially in cannabis. And my hope is that the licensing process itself will work itself out so that those who really want to get into this business because they're passionate about cannabis and marijuana will actually have a chance to get into the business. Mm-hmm. And I think that's ultimately why the state said no vertical integration, because we don't want all of the multi-state operators coming in and taking over the landscape and shoving out the smaller, homegrown, no pun intended, Minnesota mm-hmm. businesses from operating. So the licensing process remains to be the biggest red flag for me, and I hope when the rulemaking ends that they will have established a fair and opportune practice and process for everyone.
Yeah, right on. Mitch, thank you for taking the time this morning. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Hey,
by the way, just a plug, I grew up listening to you guys. You guys are awesome.
When's the next Stereo Kitchen? He's in a band called Stereo Kitchen. Fantastic cover band, plays a lot of our tunes. When's your next gig?
That would be Saturday. I believe it's November the 4th. Oh,
gosh. Well, good Lord. We've got a little time to wait. Yeah.
Yeah, it's out at Bunkers on that Saturday night. I really appreciate the play. It's Saturday the 4th at
all right.
Bunkers.
Looking forward to the gig. All right, Mitch. Thank you, buddy.
Thank you all. Take care.
See ya. So what does Mitch play in this band?
He's one of the guys up on the main mic guy. A couple of gals out there. Yeah, they rock it out.
Go figure.
They'll play a Black Crow tune or two.
Imagine how many times in the writing of a 325-page bill for the legalization of marijuana, how many times did someone go, dude, you already wrote that part? Oh.
Right. Somebody smoked a couple of pages, used the paper to roll it.
What was the number he said? Like for every dispenser, you can have one seller for every 12,500 residents.
Yeah,
it's such a random number. It just my first thought was I spent some time years ago in with a Welsh band, and they're from a very small town, and they said when they were decide in Wales, in the southern valleys of Wales, every valley in between mountains has another little town. Every few miles, there's a whole separate town, and they're all like little universes. And the one rule they all had that everybody agreed upon was if you wanted a pub, for every pub there had to be a church. So, so in every town, if you count the churches, that's how many pubs there are.
Oh.
So, and he's like, I was like, really? He's like, oh, yeah, like a town of 600 people, 7 pubs, 7 churches. It's crazy.
Yeah, they both play their part in society, don't they? I love a Simpsons had a perfect shot of this end of the world scenario, and everybody comes running out of the church into the bar next door, and everyone in the bar comes running out of the bar and into the church.
That's it. The answer to and cause of all of our problems. Duff beer.
$1 billion is the answer to all my problems. I'm convinced the Mega Millions now, up to $1 billion? That brought up a great am I a jerk scenario concerning someone winning a lot of money. And who should you or could you or would you or give money to in the family or not?
Lord.
Yeah, I know. Wait, we're going to get into this at 8:30. Hang tight.
The KQ Morning Show is back. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show for Monday, July the 31st. Tomorrow night, Tuesday, if memory serves. Wait, is it Tuesday? Yeah, it is Tuesday night. The Mega Millions will be drawn on August 1st. The jackpot has grown to $1.05 billion.
Lordy.
Mega Millions is like, hey, screw you, Powerball. Get out of the way, man. We can do it too. Mega Millions over $1 billion. And by tomorrow, it'll probably be like $1.1 billion. It always tends to jump up day to day to day. So a lot of people, myself included, will go plunk $2 or $3 down and say, why not? Someone's got to win it eventually. Why not me? We had a real love. We just didn't think we could put it all together. Remember that song? Why not me? We had a real love. Yeah, I'll just get drunk at the reception, and I won't think about her twice. I'll just say congratulations. You both look real nice, real nice. Why not me? Why can't I win the Mega Millions? So $1 billion after taxes, if you take the cash payout, you're going to get over $350 million in cash. And so why are we mentioning this? Well, because we saw a story where a person who recently won a very, very large jackpot and who has remained anonymous, apparently, has gone on Reddit to the AITA world, which is, am I the a-hole? It's one of those, people lay out a story and go, is it me or is it him? Am I the a-hole or are they the a-hole? Long story short, check this out. Somebody who just won so what they said was life-changing money. It's a woman. She's got a husband. They're very excited, and they instantly agreed to keep the news to themselves. Just imagine you're sitting at home one day and you check your numbers and you're like, oh, my God, I just won X millions of dollars. And you and your spouse decide, first things first, which is smart, don't tell anybody, ever. Can't do anything.
Yeah.
A few months passed after the incredible high, a lot of disbelief. And it's been really difficult, but they have managed not to make any large purchases or change their lifestyle because they don't want to, tip the fact that they've got all this money now. They want to slowly go about it, and they're having some practical discussions. Now that the shock is worn off, they're digging in and thinking, well, what are we actually going to do for the rest of our lives? Her husband said, you know what? I think it'd be really good if we gave a big chunk of this, like a third of it, to my business partner, Tim. And she's using fake names, but she says her husband, quotes, Adam, thought his best friend / business partner, Tim, should get a third because they've been working together. They've invested together. They've been partners since they were very young men. And after all, it wouldn't be fair. And the husband's other point is, well, if we're going to have all this money, it's going to be weird to have a friend who doesn't have as much money. Let's just give a bunch to him, and then we're all on the equal footing.
Yeah. So, divorce lawyer?
So, well, yeah, first things first. So and at the end of it, she's like, am I being crazy here? No, your husband's in love with someone else named Tim, first of all.
Yeah. Your
husband's having an affair, and he wants his lover on the side to be well-heeled as well, well-seated, if you will. This is just one of the more bizarre stories I've ever heard. It all made perfect sense at first because I've always said, if I win the lottery, you know who I'm telling? Nobody. Ever. Ever. Just lie. Just give away money anonymously to the people you love. They don't have to know where it came from. You can help people out, and they never have to know who their donor is.
Yeah, if I step up and help out, say mom and dad, they're going to know something's up. Wait a second, Brian A is helping out, and B has money. What's going on? And mom and dad will just think, I murdered someone or is a big drug, right. So I've got to at least fess up to mom and dad so they don't. It'll take years off mom's life if she thinks I'm dealing drugs.
Well, I always imagine, you find an attorney and you just have them get a hold of somebody and say, this is legit. Yeah. There's somebody in your life that doesn't want you to know who they are is offering you this cash prize of $9 million or whatever it is. Right. And then you say, look, get your lawyer involved, and they get protected. They realize it's not a scam, it's real, and they go on with their life. Now, I mentioned that one day to my wife, and she said, yeah, but if that happened to you, if someone showed up and knocked on our door tomorrow, introduced themselves, they're a legit attorney, and they're like, here's a document. You'll never know where this came from, but if you just sign here, honestly, no strings attached, for real, and then your own attorney says, no, it's real. Here's $10 million. She goes, it would eat you alive. And I stopped her. I said, no, it wouldn't. I'd never think about it twice. Just give me that money, and I'll be nice to anybody I bump into. Maybe it's going to be them.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the guy over at Lunds and Byerly's. Maybe it's my long lost friend from college. It could be anybody.
Right.
I don't care. I'm just going to have a smile on my face, go about my business. If you want to come up and say, hey, hope you enjoy that 10 mil, I'll be excited, but I'm not going to lose sleep over it.
Would you tell Rosemary?
Oh, if I want, sure. No, that's who I would tell.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm saying I wouldn't lose sleep if I were the recipient of an anonymous, but if I win, let's say Wednesday morning I wake up and bang, I check my ticket and there's $1 billion sitting there with my name on it. Yes, I will tell Rosemary.
Well, the reason I ask is that's what I see in this, am I the a-hole here? Because, all right, now you're in a marriage. Let's say half of them ended up in a divorce. Let's say the other half that make it are loveless. I mean, the divorce, it just seems like a lot of trouble, and the libido's not what it used to be anyway, so who cares? I'll just, we share bills. I can't afford to get divorced, and you're just trudging on toward the end of life. Now you've won $1 billion, and you're not going to tell anyone else, but you have this spouse. I mean, you two are going to have to spend all of your time together, all your vacations, all your free, because you're not telling anyone else, right? Is that the person you really then want to be rich with? It was okay to be poor with them, but do you want to be rich with that person?
Well, I saw something. There was a report of from Sweden, just that one country, where the vast majority of women married women who hit big lottery winnings, far more than 50% were divorced within a year.
Yeah.
They got money, and they were like, all right, I'm out of this situation.
I had this conversation with Maria, who gets together with a bunch of her married gal friends. And without lottery being part of the topic, it turns out that most women, I understand, after they've been married a long time, really are just in it to get to the finish line. In other words, none of them were getting remarried if their husband died suddenly.
Right.
Not when they're old, just suddenly now. Yeah. And if they won the lottery, he'd be gone today.
Really?
Yeah, women are just, at some point, after they've had their kids, they realize that we're just another big kid they've got to take care of. For us, we're dependent now on them, but they're not dependent on us. So I think.
Well, there are those couples that are, what do you call them? Adults, and sometimes they actually have talked about these things with each other ahead of time.
Yeah,
they're actually friends. They get along. They can imagine, kind of cashing in together.
It happens. It does happen. Yeah,
it does happen out there. I was in a rock and roll band for years, and we were making a record in 2009 in L.A. And one of the guys that worked for the band came in and said, "Hey, the Powerball's like $600 million. Everyone throw in $20. I'll go buy a bunch of tickets." And we all said, "Okay." And I made the point, so if this hits, everyone's going to make how much? And he said, well, there's 8 of us, because it was a couple crew guys in the band. Okay, there's 8 of us. If we win after taxes, blah, blah, blah. He goes, okay, everyone's going to get $16 million. Mm-hmm. And I said, that will be the end of this band. Yeah. And everybody went, oh yeah, no question. Yeah. Like we all were like, oh, if we all got 16, oh yeah, we'd break up tomorroh. Yeah, great, done. Please, please get us out of here. But it was really funny because then, like you think about like how many marriages would end. I've always thought that how many bands would break up if they won the Powerball together, and the answer is most of them.
There was a story, a documentary about people's lives that were ruined by winning the lottery, which I just don't have patience for or time for.
Either.
One of the more interesting ones, however, though, I thought were 32 workers that always went in. Every week they'd throw their money in the pot, and they all went in, and they won. It was a big win. 32 workers, but they didn't have a contract drawn up about how that money would evenly be dispersed and how that might happen. And once they started that process, it never ended up being distributed. They just all ended up litigating for so long. It ate up all the money, and nobody cashed out.
Man.
And 32 coworkers.
Yeah.
I mean, there's going to be a couple of weirdos, a couple of litigious people. I mean, in other words, there's too many things that can go wrong. You want to do it with a couple of buddies, it's one thing. But, yeah, those work ones,
What do you trust to hold the ticket?
Yeah, right.
So who are we trusting? Candice? Do you accept the responsibility for the KQ Morning Show Mega Millions purchase?
Yeah, I'll just put it in my bra.
Right.
Should be fine.
All right, cool.
I wouldn't go in on a lottery with you guys.
Take a photo of the ticket before you stuff your bra with it, okay? So we all know what the numbers are.
And a picture of the bra, just for the heck of it,
Oh, my
too.
God.
While you're at it.
Dorks.
Well, no, we're talking about, we want to make sure that somebody's not going to try to get greedy here. I think you're the most likely candidate to play the game fairly.
I agree.
Okay, so here's the question then. I mean, we're not a married couple. We're not a band. We're a morning show. Do we show up to work on Wednesday if we win the Mega Millions tomorrow? Yes or no? Are we all here? We got to do it together. All or nothing.
Yes.
Silence.
Come on.
Silence.
Fine.
We're all going.
I'm
We're all
trying
in
to
the
decide
Caribbean.
If I want to go into the Mega Millions lottery with you guys in the first place.
We're all in the Caribbean on Wednesday. Who are we kidding?
I'll be here by myself because I didn't go in, and the three of you won.
Can you imagine that show?
Yeah,
4 hours. Zeph's just like, I don't know what happened to him.
Son of a...
Smoke coming out of his
You
ears.
should come in maybe just one day and go, hey, I'm buying lunch for everybody.
No way.
Yeah.
Well, I like being around you guys. I guess I shouldn't.
No, of course you should.
No.
You trust your gut. You're exactly right. We're good
That's
folks.
poor Candice talking. Rich Candice would go, I know what I said, but...
Hang on, I'm seeing everything a little bit differently. What's the one crazy? What's the first purchase, Candice? I mean, seriously, let's just put $350 after taxes in your bank. What's the first thing you're buying? Is it something for Gigi, or are you going to get a new car? What are you doing?
Oh,
New top.
Probably pay off my mom's house.
Nice.
And then probably get my own house.
Okay.
Yeah, living is like a thing that I want. I want to have a place to live.
Living is good.
Living is the thing I want. I choose living.
And then after that's all settled in, then I'll travel, of course.
Right. Nice. Back to Italy, someplace new.
Yeah, let's go. Andiamo.
Oh, that's exciting. It's good to have a plan. Tony, where are you going? Where are you running away to?
Travel is the big thing. I think that's the best thing you can spend your money on. And maybe replace some of the Hot Wheels cars that I don't have anymore.
Oh, yeah.
That's a priority. Travel, definitely.
We would we had so many Hot Wheels days on rainy days where we would set up a track downhill, get some gravity working, and you just line up every car and just race them one against the other, whittle it down, who's the fastest car. And then, it was always the same cars, time in and time out. There's just certain ones that are faster.
Right. Sure.
But we would work through 72-car single elimination tournament like we had no idea who. I mean, it was always like, oh, my God, I can't believe it. It's like, that wins every time.
Right.
The Split Image is undefeated. That was the coolest car, the Split Image.
The Chaparral, I remember it was.
We had the van. We had the van with the flames on it.
Ooh.
Did you do the bus race, Hot Wheels races, where everybody gets down under the seat, right? You're laying on the seats and you're holding your Hot Wheel. And when the bus stops, everybody's feet up and you let go of them.
No.
That was the race, yeah.
Oh,
that was
that's
it right
great.
there. Yeah, that was a good one.
Oh, that is a very good one.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but you're right. It was always one car. Somebody had that one car that was just faster. I remember Dad going, what's going on? Oh, my Hot Wheels never went. Bring them on in here. Get out the WD-40. We'll loosen these.
Oh,
She's
sure.
spraying them down. And
Man, I do enjoy a more simplified life in terms of space and, older just decluttering, getting rid of stuff is a big part of our life the last few years, especially once our second, Marley, when she went to college, it was like, all right, great. Let's just keep it clean. We don't need that. Haven't worn that in years. Never use that again. If I win but to your point, I mean, or just what you just said, immediately I'm like, oh, I could go get all the Hot Wheels. Like I don't miss. I never think about them. Mm-hmm. But if you give me that kind of money, I guess I would. Right. Hang on, I'm going to need a Hot Wheel room.
I know.
I'd completely lose all the perspective I've gained in life. It would completely derail the rest of the way I view what's important right now. I need a Hot Wheel room. I need all the Hot Wheels to go in the Hot Wheel room. No. You don't put the Matchbox. You can have a Matchbox here, but it has to go over there. No, this is the Hot Wheel room.
Yeah,
that'd be me all day long. I need to go I need to track down every album I ever had but sold. So I have more bins of albums that take up more space. I'm going to need a new room for all the albums. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'd be a nightmare.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think I'd go out and buy a bunch of muscle cars, a bunch of things that I want, a bunch of motorcycle, one of every kind. Anything that's got two wheels, I want it. Put it all in a big pole barn, and then I just travel. I go, what the heck did I buy all that crap for? What am I doing? I'm just running around. I gotta.
Well, but then you can afford like the kind of plane that you load a bunch of bikes into, and it meets you there. And then you have your bicycle. You got your bicycles. You got all your motorcycles for wherever you go.
You're right. I just buy what I need once I get there. The only thing I think I'd really purchase outright would be a private jet.
Yeah.
I just want a private jet to go places, get rid of all my earthly possessions, just leave them behind. Good. You people want something out of my life that's in that old crappy house over there. Go help yourself. I'm out of here.
I think about a tour bus, like a top level bus with a driver to customize it and just always be going somewhere. Yeah, I could totally get behind that. Mm-hmm. And then if along the way, if I were to meet a young man who happened to have superpowers, it would be like the show Shazam. I'd just be an old guy in a big bus driving around with a young kid who turns into Captain America, Shazam, all that. That'd be awesome, wouldn't it?
Write that down.
It's a TV show waiting to happen.
No doubt. What's the opposite of winning the mega billion dollars that's out there? Stuck in a rut at work. Yeah, we came across 5 things that might get you promoted, might not. We'll run them up the flagpole for you at 9 o'clock. Hang tight.
It's the KQ Morning Show, 92 KQRS. Zep, Tony, Candice, and Steve Gorman are the KQ Morning Show. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Monday, July the 31st, the final day of the month of July. Tomorrow is the first day of the rest of our lives. Stoners unite. The decriminalization of marijuana in the Twin Cities kicks in tomorrow. You can have up to 2 pounds of flowery weed in your home. Yeah. You can have 2 ounces on your person while in public.
That's crazy.
2 ounces is a lot.
An ounce used to be like a federal crime. If you were caught with an ounce, that was trafficking, and you were going up up the river for a long sentence. But now you can have a couple of ounces on you. That'd be like I'm just guessing, like a quart-sized baggie full of weed would be an ounce, maybe, something like that.
Packed tightly, stuffed in there for sure. You can you can't just whip that out and smoke it anywhere you want. But in the privacy of your own home, in the privacy of anybody's home who says it's cool. And by the way, that does mean all the way to the sidewalk. You can sit in your front yard and just bake away the rest of the summer legally in the state of Minnesota. So that's a big old change coming down the pike in less than 15 hours from now.
Right. And most people will want to go to a dispensary and buy it just like we buy everything else, right? The convenience of it, someone's already done the work for us and packaged it up nice and pretty and all that stuff. But that's not going to happen now. We're hearing this morning from Mitch Chargo, a lawyer that we had on, that's probably not going to happen until early 2025.
Yeah, you still got to have, Greasy Jim's phone number or whatever you call him,
Right.
Hey, get Bucky on the horn. We still need some more skunk weed. You still got to get it the old way, the old-fashioned way.
Yeah.
But you're not going to get busted for getting it. That's the difference.
Well, I mean, actually, if he can get busted for selling it to you.
Right.
You haven't paid taxes on it.
Right.
Now it's the IRS.
Poor Greasy Jim.
Yeah, he can't win for losing. For crying out loud. However, seeds do go on sale tomorrow. A lot of places will have seeds available to purchase tomorrow, I understand.
And what did we say? You can have 8 plants going in your house. 4 can be flowering at any given time.
I don't have a green thumb myself, but that and my air conditioning bill is high enough. I can't imagine hydroponics plugged in.
But if you got 4 plants flowering at all times, that's producing a pretty good amount of weed, though.
Right?
Right. Correct.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think so.
It's enough.
Yeah.
More than I'm going to need. I can tell you that.
Right.
I tried. I gave the old college try to be a stoner. It just never really clicked with me. It just, to me, smoking weed, having an edible, whatever, it just, by doing that, I'm waving a white flag on the rest of the day. Yeah. I'm saying I'm a beanbag chair and a sandwich away from a great night's sleep. That's it. I'm done. Don't expect me to do anything. Don't ask me to do anything. I am ready to kick back, and my brain will be shutting down in 3, 2.
That's so weird. I'm the total opposite. I get super weird and horny, and I'm just like, I get like stimulated.
Stimulated.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's
I know people like that. Yeah, that's an odd mix with people like Steve that don't get stimulated. But yeah, I dated
He just
someone
called
once,
you odd.
Just the odd, the opposite rather.
Okay, fine. I'm odd. Candice is a horn dog. Whatever. As long as we're calling each other names. So when, like, Candice, do you ever get stoned around the house and then like I got to clean and start vacuuming and cleaning? Do you get like that kind of like busy, like you got to burn some energy off, or is it not
or
that?
I just have to stay. I can't fall asleep, so that's why I don't do it that much, because especially during the week I need to fall asleep, and I'll just listen to music. I'll just like like trip out.
I can't imagine not being able to sleep stoned. That's happened to me when I've been like crazy stoned, like too stoned to sleep. I've had that happen, but just an average. Yeah, I took a couple hits. It was nice. I felt good, but then it immediately I'm just like a bunch of dominoes falling down. Eventually, I will be snoring.
I just get ridiculously giggly and super thoughtful.
I can see that. I can see both of those things. Neither is a surprise to me.
It takes a little bit for you to get used to it, but yeah.
Super thoughtful. I've been thinking.
Yeah. About what, man?
That I was thinking about the bass line at the beginning of Sweet Emotion. It's really like
I thought you were being serious.
It's like when I hear it and I think about like humanity, and I think about like the cosmos.
And it's a bass, so what is it really the bass for?
Honestly, like when it kicks in and he starts singing, it kind of ruins it. I just want that bass intro to just go on forever.
Mm-hmm.
That's me. That's me on weed. That's why no one likes me when I'm stoned. It's terrible. I used to, there was a while where I was kind of like, I'm going to get up and have a little weed with my coffee, like wake and bake. That might be the time for me. And I found myself sitting in a rocking chair on a screened-in porch back in the day, and I would just get a little stoned and drink some coffee, and I'd be wide awake but stoned, and then I'd be like, man, this is just, and I'd just want to read. I would just like, this is perfect. And then I would read and read and read and not remember anything I read.
Yeah.
Nothing. Not one thing I would retain.
Well, if you're not being tested.
What's that?
I said if you're not being tested.
Well, yeah, but just for my own enjoyment, I pick up a book a week later sober, and I'm like, this book is amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, wait,
you only need one book.
What happened?
One book. You only need one. I never realized the money saving that goes. If I just got stoned every day, I could listen to the same record, read the same book. I could make the same sandwich every time. I wouldn't need to change up the guard ever.
Just need one little box for all your entertainment.
Being able to adapt. That's what I got. I just didn't let it wash me over. I didn't let it wash over me. And I didn't realize how easy my life could be if I just embraced it. Here at work, every now and again, speaking of how easy your life should be and adapting, we're often asked in the radio business to change the way we do things, by which I mean we're rarely asked to do anything different because, we come in, we do our business, we have a good time, and we work on things that a lot of people at normal jobs don't have to work on so much. Or I should say, there are things we don't have to work on that a lot of people do. Does that make sense?
Right, yeah.
That's what I'm trying to say.
Right.
2,000 executives at all different companies were asked. They said, what are the 5 things that people should do if they want to get promoted? What are the top 5 things that you should have to do? Number 1 was being motivated to learn new skills. This is where we come in again. We're just talking, have a good time. And like me knowing how to turn my mic on and off, that's a pretty good skill. I learned that one along the way.
Yeah.
Looking at a clock and talking at the same time, that's about it. I still don't know how to record bits and edit my own audio. Like, I'm terrible with learning new skills. I mean, I can read new books. Like, I love new information about Oppenheimer's childhood. I'm fascinated, but anything that's going to help me be a better guy at radio, it's like, I don't know if I can make that happen. I'm just not very good at it.
Yeah.
Candice strikes me as the most nimble, easy to learn new tricks here, and I think that's just because of your youth and vivality.
Yeah, I'll help you out, but it's going to cost you.
See, there you have it.
Snacks.
Motivated to learn new skills. 30% said the most important thing you need to get promoted is new skills. Do any of us want to be promoted? What comes after this? Then it's like, then you're the program director? I don't want that.
That's not a promotion, is it?
Is it? I don't know.
I thought all program directors were just...
it's a punishment.
Yeah, they just couldn't be on air, so they kicked them into programming.
I guess. I don't know. I just... Yeah, the reason I'm not in quote unquote business is because when I get into a good situation, all I think is I don't think let's grow it. I think let's just not blow it. Let's just stay right here.
Right.
This is working. Let's just see how long we can do this. And through painful experience, I've learned that really that doesn't last. You got to be going somewhere. You got to keep growing, or well, if you ain't growing, you're dying. Or I don't know. There's some old saying that Socrates or Cyrano or somebody said something smart about that once. I don't know. Cyrano. I was still trying to say Cicero. How about this? Number 2 most important thing if you want a promotion, strong interpersonal skills.
Yeah, I would fail that big and bad, yeah.
Got to play nice in the sandbox, Brian.
No, yeah, I don't like it.
No, okay. You're in a good place. Being able to adapt to change easily. Well, that is life in radio.
Yeah.
Things change all the time.
Yeah, right. I guess if you learn new technology once a decade,
yeah,
I'm willing to change.
Here's one that we're all going to fail. Being willing to work long hours. Sorry. I'll do early hours. I ain't doing long hours.
Yeah, that was my concession. I'll get up in the middle of the night, but I'm not going to stick around all day.
Man. Yeah, I got ruined early in life. At some point, I read the wrong Hunter S. Thompson thing at the wrong age. You know what I mean? Looking back, and I just that's the way it is, or something, or how I don't know. Maybe it was Catcher in the Rye, but something hit my brain in 10th grade, where I was just like, I think the key, it's not to work hard, but it's to work hard for a few minutes a day. Don't waste time because you're spinning your wheels otherwise. Find a thing you love. Just do the one thing, and that's going to be enough. And then I insisted on doing that. And then, honestly, through just nothing but sheer blind squirrel luck, occasionally that worked out. But on the moments when it's not working, then I'm clueless. I'm just like,
I know.
Oh, man, everybody else has such a work ethic. What the hell am I supposed to do now?
I know. Thank God my dad was a farmer, and I got to watch him work his ass off year after year for very little. We had very little. Mm-hmm. And that confirmed it for me. Don't work your ass off. If you're going to have very little, be lazy. Be a disc jockey and have very little.
Earn that very little.
Yeah, get free concert tickets and have very little.
Hey, man.
Yeah, don't work yourself into an early grave and have very little, I think.
It checks out. That's one of those things that, with every passing day. It's like there's those people that say, why, what's the thing I read? I think it might have been at a Jimmy John's sandwich shop. I read one of those posters.
There's all
plaque. There's stuff all over the wall.
It's all that, use napkins or whatever. Right. They have all these rules. But one of these things, it was like a parable. It was the story of the old man in the Mexican fishing village, and he goes out on his boat every day, and he catches his fish, and he comes in, and he's really good at it. And then he takes an American businessman's on vacation. He takes him out on his boat, and the guy catches all this fish, and he says to the man down there, he goes, you're so good at this, and you know the fishing holes. You should grow a business. You should hire somebody, and then I can help you invest, and we'll get 3 boats and 4 boats and 6 boats, and then you do all this work. And then he explains to him the whole process, and he goes, well, what good will that do me? He goes, well, then you can do whatever you want. And he goes, yeah, but or the American says you can do whatever you want. You build your business, you hire people, and then eventually you can sell the business, and then you can retire, and then you can just sit on the beach and fish as you want every day. And the guy says, well, that's what I do now. Like, what's the point? I'm already just hanging out and going out and fishing for a few hours a day. Yeah. What's the difference? All of this long-winded way to say, if you like what you're doing, it does take the pressure off because you're like, hey, this is what I would be doing if I were retired.
Right, yeah. A promotion might take you out of that. Yeah, you get more money and more responsibility, but it usually comes with more of everything else. And maybe you were just a little bit happier sitting there in the shop with your own little corner doing your own little thing. I get it.
When Gary Shandling died, I read a quote of his that I liked. He said, when someone says, when people say nice guys finish last, it's just they just don't know where the finish line is. I was like, it's a pretty good one.
That's funny.
Yeah, it's like it's one thing. If there's a limit in your mind, either with experience or finance or whatever it is you're looking for, if you understand the concept of enough, then you're way ahead of the curve. Like, what's enough? You know. Because there are plenty of people who we all know who there will never be enough. They can't, if you get something great, they just, what's the next thing? What's the next thing? And it's like, well, when is it enough? If you can live with the idea of enough, then, man, I feel like you're way ahead of the game.
I think so, too. That's a trick. That's a slippery slope, too, though. You mentioned your simple Mexican fisherman, right? He was already living on a beach doing what he loved, but the American now thinks, oh, really, are you? I'm going to go buy a bigger boat. I'm actually going to buy 4 of them. I'm going to come down and fish this out, drive the prices of your fish down, and run you out of business and own this.
Well, now, hold on. I didn't see that at that sandwich shop. I didn't get the sequel.
That sandwich shop, that's exactly what that franchise sandwich shop did to the little mom-and-pop sandwich shop that used to be sitting there.
That's exactly right.
I know, but it does sound nice, doesn't it? When you can get away with it.
It does. But for my money right now, I got no complaints. Because we literally get up in the morning, come out and hang out, and we just have a good time. So.
All right, well, you're not done earning your pay yet, mister. We need some sports and music history, and that's coming at 9:30. Hang tight.
The KQ Morning Show is back. 92 KQRS.
I'm Steve Gorman. This is the KQ Morning Show, Monday, July 31st. Tomorrow, it's legal. Spark up and join us for a little wake and bake. Why don't you? I'm not gonna, but you're more than welcome to. All the same things apply. Be careful. Don't drive and be stoned and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, tomorrow in the state of Minnesota, it's going to be interesting. I wonder if at midnight we're all going to smell our neighbors sparking up just to celebrate together en masse.
Right.
Some of us smell it already on the streets outside of our windows on occasion, but it's probably going to be a little bit more as of midnight tonight. Okay, quick story here. I know this is near and dear to your heart, Candice. There is a man who has spent a fortune transforming himself into a dog. I'm not making that up. Here's the deal. A guy who has spent $14,000 on what is being called a hyper-realistic collie suit or costume. He gets into it. It looks like a jumbo-sized collie dog, and he walks around in public parks and hangs out with other dogs, and he acts like a dog. There are videos of this guy online. He's been posting. There's a YouTube page called I Want to Be an Animal.
It's a big, fat dog.
It's a big, extra-sized collie. Still photos. It kind of looks realistic. The more you look at him, you can kind of go, I'm not so sure. When you watch the video, the real giveaway is the face doesn't change expression. It's a costume, so the nose, the mouth, it doesn't. It's. But I can't believe we're talking about this. But it's. But I'm thinking to myself, if Candice, if you could climb into something that looked just like Gigi, you do it in a second.
Yeah, I mean, I've thought about it. No, I'm just kidding. But no, okay. At first I thought this was cool. The video of him rolling around is actually really funny.
Right.
But I don't like it at all. It's
you don't
very
like it at all.
scary to me.
I don't want to rub his belly.
I don't like it that other dogs are like hanging out with him.
Yeah, it's weird.
I would look if Chauncey hung out with a dude in a dog suit. I'd be like, really? You don't know the difference? Like you think that's a dog?
I need to talk
I'd be disappointed.
Yeah, so much for that smart thing. He's thinking, I'm hanging out with you. You're not a dog.
Did you not sniff his butt and come away with some human action going on there? Come on.
Yeah, I don't like it. I don't like it. This video is getting really weird.
I think something tells me the guy who spent $20,000 to look like a collie, he's sniffing their butts.
Yeah, wouldn't you call the pound and have him just locked up. Right, I'd call the pound on them all the time. See if we can't get them locked up and neuter that one while you've got them in there.
There's definitely a kink being worked out. Is a nice way to describe that.
Hey, finally figured out a way to hang out with women. But I'm guessing he wasn't doing a lot of that before.
I would imagine not. Yeah, that's good way to meet a dog owner, I guess, is...
Yeah, I'm just, I thought I would be more into this than I, am because I love mascots. Mascots love me. So it's just one of those things that I thought would be cool, but it's really disturbing.
But here's the thing. When you see Goldie, it's not someone attempting to tell... Someone's not trying to make you think they're actually a gopher.
Right.
Like they're not like no really I'm trying to pass as a gopher.
Yeah.
It's a dude or a gal in a big goofy looking gopher mascot suit. That's a whole different thing.
Right.
When you look at Mickey Mouse, he doesn't look like a mouse. This guy looks like a collie. He's trying to pass as a dog.
He's going to have to learn some tricks. Well, he's going to pull out a deck of cards. Here's what I can do.
That'd be pretty great. You're limited without the opposable thumb. I mean, I'm just going to say.
Do you think he pees like a dog?
Lifts his leg, yeah.
Yeah, mark his territory.
Sure.
Not good. Nothing good about it. I'm
different
glad.
strokes for different folks.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just, I thought, like, I saw the story and I was like, I don't want to talk about that. And then I was like, no, it's so weird we have to talk about it. And now that we're talking about it, it's like, I don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
It's really not good.
If you want to wear a collar, that's one thing. But dressing up like a dog, bark like a dog for me.
Here's my favorite arrest of the day. 3 dudes in Pennsylvania are under arrest after they broke into a police impound lot. Why? Because, their truck had been seized days earlier, and they realized that all their drugs were in the truck. So instead of leaving things left alone that should be left alone, they so the story was a Ford truck owned by this guy. Troopers pulled them over. A real dog, not a Japanese man dressed up as a collie. A dog smelled some drugs in the cab. The truck was impounded pending a further investigation. 3 days later, state police were notified of a break-in at the impound lot. So the dog did smell drugs, make no mistake about it. But unfortunately, the drugs that had been in the truck had already been recovered. Police discovered crack, meth, heroin, weed, and drug paraphernalia. That's not a lad's weekend. That's some serious drug use.
Yeah, that's a little bit of everything. That's Hunter S. Thompson's briefcase, his lawyer's briefcase.
And there's something to be said for how wasted you are where they take your car away because the dogs smelled drugs, and 3 days later you're like, they probably haven't found the drugs yet. Let's go get them.
Yeah.
No, they found them, dude. It's been 3 days.
Yeah.
I could find those. Give me 3 days and a screwdriver. I'll find the drugs in your car. And that's not even what I do for a living. The guys at the impound, they went right through that car and found it pretty quickly.
Yeah, they're excited to find it. They want to find it. And every impound lot has about 100 cameras. Unless you're an elite special forces unit team going in with Tom Cruise and shooting the stuff onto the cameras and then coming down on a rope out of a helicopter, stealth helicopter. Yeah, they've got you. Now they've got a little bit more on you.
Yeah, it's just again. I mean, I see you working here, guys, but you really just didn't put enough time in it. Oh wait, one more crime story while we have it, and this is another one. What's going on in Pennsylvania, man? All the good capers. This is fantastic. A manager at a Wendy's in Pennsylvania made up a fake employee, clocked in and out 128 shifts, and took all the paychecks for herself.
You know what? My first thought was clever.
Me too.
I never thought about the whole fake employee thing. You're the manager. You clock them in. You clock them out.
Here's the best thing. She created a ghost employee named William Bright. I have a friend named William Bright, one of my close friends. I got to send him this story. She clocked in and out. This is in not Lancaster. It's Lancaster. That's how they say it. Mm-hmm. Go call it Lancaster and let the Pennsylvanians correct you. This is in Lancaster. She did this for it was almost a year. She manually logged 128 shifts, who was paid just under $20,000. That is, and then the paychecks were deposited into her Cash App account.
Well, it's not too greedy.
Oops.
$20,000. Yeah, but right.
Got to start a separate bank account. You got to come up, at least get a fake ID, figure something out.
Yeah, right.
Man,
it's a little more complicated than it quickly goes over the head of a fast food manager.
But how about the fact that, no one noticed. Like, it's a 5-man crew, right? Yep,
Right.
There's 4 people there. I mean, like, that says a lot about what was going on, what the expectations were. How high was the bar in the kitchen at Wendy's? Not very high.
You know, somebody at some point probably tried to, who's the Gus guy? Give him a call. Tell him I can't come in this weekend. You know, why can't we get a hold of this person? Who are they? But, yeah, I suppose you keep that on the wraps. But gotcha. They always get you.
Oh, they always do get you. Hey, we're going to, speaking of getting it, we're going to get after it this October. The KQ Morning Show is hitting the road for a very long weekend. It's KQ Up North with BigDeck.com, October 5th through the 8th at Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake. Oh, you want to be there? You can. You can absolutely join us. You can go to 92kqrs.com and pick up tickets and join us for the whole weekend. Or if you have a cabin or your own place to stay nearby, then you can just pick up a day pass. Join us. There's going to be a live broadcast of this very show. There will be drinks on the boat cruise, dinner, and more. You can get that day pass again at 92kqrs.com, sponsored by BigDeck.com and Cragen's Resort on Gull Lake.
Dude, this is going to rock.
It is going to rock.
Excited. So many people are going to. I saw a bunch of people at Riggs Springfield on Saturday night that said they're going.
Really?
On the boat cruise, a bunch of people said they're going.
Awesome.
Like, oldies, newbies. It's going to be the bomb.
That's great. All right, so I'm not the only newbie. I'm fine. I like that. I'm always the new guy at these events. It'd be nice to know someone else is new to the scene.
Yeah.
All right, fair
Did
enough.
you say nude or new?
You will see.
You're going to have to wait and see, Tony.
All right.
Let's just let now that weed's legal in Minnesota, by then maybe I will have gotten my stamina up, and who knows what's going to happen. I don't know. I'm kind of excited about it.
Today and every weekday at noon, it's a free ride. Minnesota's commercial-free classic rock on 92 KQRS.